Hi, I'm Patrick Strawn, joined by Kaitlyn Scales, captain of the Division II women's hockey team. Thanks for sitting down with us.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, so first question I want to ask you, everyone knows you're from the South, all right, and that's not known for the hockey hotbed that, the North is. So, how does a girl from the Big NC come up to Liberty and, develop just such a strong passion for the game?
Well, I've actually had a passion for it for a long time. I've loved hockey as long as I can remember. Growing up, trading cards, playing street hockey. I guess my neighbors really kind of got me into it, and I've just been a fan of the NHL. But growing up, there was no house leagues at home. It was really only travel, and with three brothers, we were kind of all over the place with sports, so it just wasn't going to happen. And then I actually transferred here halfway through my sophomore year, and had read about the team prior, and I knew it was a developmental team at that time. I didn't know what it was like when I got here, so I just shot Sarah an email asking, tryout process, what the skill level took, and we just kind of ran from there. So, yeah.
And I know, you just touched on you did transfer here. So, your first set of collegiate hockey is here at Liberty. So, walk me through what that first game was like all the emotions that were going through your mind.
Nerves, just straight nerves. I joined, and a couple of the girls had joined at the same time, same kind of playing ability. We hadn't really played before. Had a couple practices under my belt, but it was mid-season. I came into this new team. Thankfully, they were all really welcoming, and just kind of jumped in with them. But the game itself, I remember being terrified because I know one of the other girls that had joined with me, she hadn't planned on playing in that game, and so I thought, well, maybe I was off the hook. And Sarah actually threw me in there, so I got my first couple of shifts in, and it's crazy. It's been a fun ride from there.
Yeah, and speaking of the fun ride, you're the captain of the team, and you were actually thrust into the leadership position pretty early, not even being on the team for long. So now being the captain, you're not only voted in by the coach, but by your peers. So what does that mean to you, like I said, now being the captain, that not only your teammates look to you not only for friendship, but more so they look to you even more for leadership?
It's been really great. It's been a good tool to push me. Like you said, I was thrust into it. I had played 3 or 4 months on the team that first semester I was here, and then the following year I was given an assistant captain position, which at the time I don't even know if I was ready for. But Sarah had talked with me about it, and we thought that it would be a good leadership team with the mix of skill, and I don't know, I guess she saw something there within me. But it's definitely pushed me, on the ice, off the ice. It's definitely made me a better hockey player, but also I think a better leader. I'm not saying I'm perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I also know that I've gained a whole new confidence just with the team and just in life in general. So it's been neat to, I guess, look back and see the progress, because if you had ever told me that I was going to be captain of a hockey team in college, even 4 years ago when I got here, coming up in January is 4 years, and I would never believe you. It's been an awesome time, but I think it's just neat to be able to, I guess, lead those newer girls. And a lot of times I don't have the most hockey sense on the team because I've only been playing for 4 years. But I think there's different things that I can bring to the table, and I know there are other girls on the team that also step up that don't necessarily have a letter. So I think our team works well like that. We're willing to learn from each other, not just the captains themselves. So it's a good composition of people, I guess.
And you talked about the confidence and help developing that confidence. I'm sure your confidence was tested quite a few times because every team has its struggles, especially when you're the captain. People look to you for the leadership. So do you ever have those moments where you're as a captain, more so with your team, what are we doing? We're not, nothing's gelling right, we're not clicking, and you're even thinking why am I still doing this?
Definitely. There's been times, with our team that you just sit there and you kind of what has happened? Where one game we're all clicking and we are working together, and it just kind of flows, and then another game you come out, a week later, and it's what happened to that same team that played, last week? But it's just a matter of taking it in stride and trying to finish out that game strong. A lot of times we'll flood in between first and second, and so it's either, sometimes I sit there and it's not my time to say something, and the team knows that. But then a lot of times we will kind of like just feed off of each other and go from there. But then you have to, if it is a bad game where we're not gelling, scratch it, go back to practice the next week, and just kind of start over. You know, get the lines rolling again. Make sure that D partners are meshing well, things like that. Yeah.
And even you and your coach, it's no secret that you guys have a bit of an interesting player-coach dynamic, a better relationship than probably you see between a coach and a captain. So what is so interesting about that relationship?
Well, I started out and it was just the player-coach relationship, and then it became player-captain, which I don't think there's much of a difference there, especially with Sarah. But then I was also given the ability to work in club sports, and so now I work for Sarah as well. But we've had that kind of mentor and then mentee, I guess, whatever that would be, role where I look to her for a lot of different things. I look to her on the ice. I look to her in my job, but then also just in life. Like, she's been an awesome mentor, and she's definitely stretched me and pushed me in different ways that I would have never imagined. But looking back, I'm extremely grateful for it and for how it's I guess built me as a person. But I think we've found the right dynamic, and I think we work well together in work and in hockey. But we just have a relationship that works. I don't know how to explain it. We just kind of know each other, and it just flows.
And like, speaking of, you talked about she's helping you with life. Like, I know this is your last season and things are kind of coming to the end for you, more so with your hockey career. So what's next? Are we actually maybe see you behind the bench next year, joining her in the coaching ranks?
I wish I knew. I have no idea. I would love to help out the team. I'd love to stick around. I love the department working for Club Sports, so if I could continue that would be awesome as well. But if I ideally, dream job, yeah, for the next couple of years, absolutely. Help out Sarah, and then also be able to help out within the department as well would be ideal.
Well, being someone who does know you, I can sure whatever it is you're going to do next, I'm sure it's going to be big things. So thanks again for sitting down with us, Kaitlyn.
Yeah, thanks.